so our final presenters are from 3:45 to 4:15 Eastern. The topic is combining language learning with targeted workspace scenario training. Maren Pauli and Tom Hope are the presenters. So let's give them just a minute to get their presentation set up.
That's better. So we're here today to present you something on how we combined language learning with targeted workplace scenario training. And we, that is me, I'm Maren, I'm head of B2B didactics at Babbel. Maybe you've heard of that language learning app before, and I'm here together with Tom, who is head of sales market at Capiche, which is also a language learning app. Maybe some of you have heard about it. And we're here to show you how we combined these two apps in order to tackle a problem that might occur quite often in this world. And yeah, let's get started with the first slide, which would be the agenda. So just briefly to show you what's going to wait for you here. So first, I would like to give you a brief overview over what is Babbel. What's the Babbel app? Maybe you've seen it before, maybe you will learn something new. Then I will hand over to Tom, who will do the exact same thing for you to show you what is Capiche and how does Capiche work. And then we show you the showcase we brought for you today. So that would be the workplace scenario trainer for a fire department in the US. And we'll come to that in a second. And then we have hopefully some time for questions. So maybe to bring everybody on the same page, these are some quotes we got. So if we think about the world, how it is right now, people who need to learn languages, but people might not have time, they might not really feel the need of learning languages. So we can see what we have when customers approach us. Language courses take up a lot of time and require a lot of work to organize. Okay, so what is going to happen? Probably they won't do anything because it's super hard to get that into your busy daily schedule. Yeah, schedules are always changing. We cannot guarantee learners will be on site at the same time every week. So especially before the pandemic, a lot of companies used to have on-site language training or on-site learning in general. And needless to say, the pandemic kind of speeded up this process of things going more online, app-based learning. Yeah, so these were actual quotes we got from our customers. And now let's have a look at Babbel. So maybe if you know Babbel, you know it as a B2C product. So for the individual who wants to travel to Italy and pick up on some Italian to be able to order their gelato in Italian. But we have been quite active in the B2B market as well in the recent years. And so here you can see a few screenshots of the app. So you can use it on web, on mobile, or on tablet. And it's self-paced language learning. And this one is text heavy. You don't need to read it. You just have to listen to what I'm saying. So how does Babbel work, or what is special about Babbel? So we have real life conversations. So rather than thinking of a grammar topic and building a lesson around this, we think of a real life conversation and build a lesson around this real life conversation in order to enable learners to immediately use what they learn, right? To learn sentences that they will hear in their daily life or in whatever situation they are in. We have bite-sized lessons. So coming back to that topic of I don't have time to learn, or it's so hard to fit that in my schedule, the lessons tend to last 10 to 15 minutes. So it's possible to put that in your daily schedule. And also we have research showing that if you learn in tiny bites more regularly, that's way more effective than if you do this bulk learning in every 2 weeks, 8 hours or something like this. Further, our courses are designed by language experts. So at Babbel, we have some 100 linguists like me. My background is in linguistics as well. I studied language, and my colleagues have studied language, pedagogy, linguistics. They have learned and taught languages. And each course is designed for the learner's own language. So that leads to the last point, the helpful tips in your native language. So what we do is we craft language courses based on the language that should ideally be your native language, so the language you're coming from, and the target language you want to learn. So to get you all on board, if we everybody here understands English, I know this, maybe we have some native English speakers, and now we think about someone who wants to learn English, and let's go a little bit into the grammar. In English, you have 3 grammatical genders. If we look at the personal pronouns, he, she, it, we have the masculine, the feminine, and the neuter. So now I'm a German native speaker. If I learn English, you can tell me this is exactly the way how it works in your language, because in German we have the same, the masculine, the feminine, and the neuter. Now, if there are any Spanish native speakers maybe here, or French, they don't have this. These languages only have 2 grammatical genders, the masculine and the feminine. So in that case, the English course would look different for a German native speaker than it would look for a French or Spanish native speaker, in order to really take advantage of the similarities and the differences in this very language combination. And the same you can do in a business context, where you can put focus on cultural specifics, like how people behave in different situations. And now I think I've talked for long enough, and I'll hand over to Tom for a Capiche overview.
Thank you very much. Yeah, at Capiche, we love to get people talking. That's our mantra. And that is because we believe that language and the ability to communicate with everybody in the work space is one of the most important skills of the future. I need to understand you to be able to work with you. That's crucial. I need to understand you to be able to collaborate with you, to give our customers something. We need to understand each other. So what we have done, we are taking the whole Babel University, that's an awesome university, and we have put it into Capiche. That is an application that combines gaming technology with artificial intelligence to deliver language training you have never, ever seen before. I could promise you that. I'm going to show you the demo after. We're so proud of what we have accomplished from Norway. That's been said. So that's what we have done. So our learning platform helps remove the language barrier within the company. So every employer can master the communication skills needed for the job role. A firefighter needs to, if a firefighter comes to a car accident, a vehicle accident, he needs to understand the person that is in the vehicle. And if the person in the vehicle is Spanish, and he's English native speaker and can't pronounce Spanish, that will be a huge problem. So, but if we could train him to learn a checklist that are going to ask the victim about, we're changing lives because we understand each other. We understand the victim and we understand the language we need to use to get understood. So what we are saying, your teacher is not standing in front of a classroom pointing at the blackboard. It's in your pockets and you're pointing at it. That's a new one. So this is the Capiche app. As we see here, some screenshots. We also have a rich backend access for our clients, where you can see how many classes did you achieve, how long did you play, how much did you learn, what's the output, what's the data, what have you accomplished in terms of the material that you need to learn to work at this company. So it's specified to your working role. So job-specific language learning combined with workforce training. Those two worlds, Babel's world with our technology combined in one beautiful designed package. And what we see is that like learning a new language as an adult, it's very hard. It's so hard. But you don't have to know the whole new language. You need to know the 10 things you have to do your job. So Teaching your employers the language and knowledge they need to communicate effectively and work safely in their workspace. And the cool thing here is it's available with every language combinations. So you will get your training manual in your language. If you're from Vienna, or if you are from Poland, from Germany, from the United States, what you will learn in the language you learned in school. Isn't that fantastic? Kind of, it's not in a foreign language, it's the language you prefer to use because you're safe in that language. And being safe in what you're going to learn, you're probably going to learn more. I'm going to show you some examples of these screenshots of different customers that are using Capiche today. So for example, a firefighter tending to an accident victim in Spanish. Or at the hospital, or at a factory producing chicken or whatever, it's machines. If you don't know how to get instruction from your boss because of culture differences and so on, you will have a huge problem. And so, this is extra cool. Every company has a training manual. They've spent weeks, months, maybe years to create those beautiful designed courses for the employers. What this magical solution has done, we could take that manual, put it into our course maker, and what used to take months, years, we do in a blink of an eye. And the output is what you saw here. That's also game changer in terms of saving time, getting the information out there. Because learning a new language or workforce training often happens after the working hours. You have to sit again. It's a punishment. So what we're doing now, they're training as they are working on real situations. You want to say something? That's your slide.
Yes, that's my slide. So coming back to our showcase. So the Aurora Fire Department is a fire rescue service in Aurora, Colorado with more than 400 employees. And they've approached us. Tom introduced that already. There are firefighters that get a lot of emergency calls in Spanish. Now, if we think in that situation, if someone has had a car crash or whatever kind of emergency, it's not a situation where people talk calmly and slow and repeat things, but people are in a very tough situation. And so now we have people that might not know any Spanish or just very basic Spanish, and they have these calls coming in Spanish. So they really have a need of understanding Spanish in that situation, and also being able to ask simple questions like, are you hurt? What happened? Stuff like this. How can we help you? Or stay calm, we get help. So the solution was that we, like Tom just said before, we combined our two expertises and created a course for firefighters that need to take these calls in Spanish. And this is highly targeted language learning in a very specific situation. Now, if you remember, before I told you my background is in linguistics, so you might wonder like, okay, how can Maren and her team create courses for firefighters? Because I'm a first aider, but I have done this basic course everybody should have done if they got the driver's license. So I'm by no means really a first responder or trained in any rescue service. So what we did there was I have a bilingual Spanish-English native speaker on my team, and she connected with Danielle from Aurora Fire Department, who is leading a team of firefighters, and they had a lot of calls to come up with these real-life scenarios, like what is it that people actually say when they have been in a car crash? I mean, I can brainstorm some things, but having someone who experiences this on a daily level is way more effective to create these scenarios. So we had this back and forth communication of, suggesting would this be a dialogue that could happen in your daily work. And yeah, and now we will show you what we created there.
If the technology allows us. So let's see if we could change this to, is it here? Yeah. I was here 2 hours in this morning to make sure that my presentation was working. I'm just gonna tell you something before, because low language proficiency can be failed, especially if your job is to communicate with people in a critical situation. And I was instructed that there's approximately 60 million U.S. Latin American Spanish speakers. That's 60 million. That's a lot. And many of those don't speak English well enough to communicate in an emergency situation. So Aurora firefighters had experienced this problem firsthand. Their employers need to be able to respond to 911 calls in Spanish. Yet few or no employers is able to communicate critical information in Spanish during an emergency. So what we are training them to do is how to respond to a 911 call in Spanish. Learn how to ask a victim questions in Spanish. Describing this difficult injuries and pains in Spanish. Basic vocabulary and body parts in Spanish. Vocabulary related to vehicle accidents, and role play. Like role play, we are teaching them in the app role play. So the app will actually speak to you. So I hope this will work now. I'm going to play off. This is the app. Here you can see the different courses, the different lessons in the app. I will go into one app now. Asking me a question. So we will now see how we do that. This course will practice how to talk to a potential injured person involved in a motor vehicle accident in Spanish.
Hola, mi nombre es Daniel.
Hola, mi nombre es Daniel. As you can see, I get a green score. I pronounced that
Soy
correctly.
paramédica con Aurora Fire.
Soy paramédica con Aurora Fire. Spanish is improving. And next one, you see, there's a red one. I picked the wrong word. It wasn't the correct word, so it tells me that it wasn't correct. Here we are deep linking into Babbles, even more information about this
¿Recuerdas lo que pasó?
And here again, I'm now not pronouncing it correct. Yes, I did, but this was pre-launch. But I will show you a case where it doesn't work. And here I'm putting in sentences the same thing as...
¿Qué sucedió?
What happened? If I pronounce it incorrect, I will get a red one and I need to try again until I could persevere. Another thing is that...
Cinturón de seguridad.
See another scenario or training session. Also correct.
¿Dónde llevas puesto el cinturón de seguridad?
Yeah. So as you see,
¿Qué tan rápido ibas?
again, so this is building a gaming platform that if you have played Candy Crush, you get 3 stars to go to the next level. We have put in those 3 stars. So if you finish each lesson with 3 stars, you're okay to go further and learn even more, or a language that are harder, that contains words that are even more and so. Whoa, what happened? Yeah, it wasn't that. So these 2 worlds combined together, we say we are building a bridge between language learning and workforce training, putting into application that allows you to train wherever you are, at the workplace, whenever. So, and especially in this situation with firefighters and others that are crucial to saving life. this tool is so helpful, and we see that with all the companies we work with. Language teaching and workforce training is fun again because it's gamified, and yeah. Do you want to say some? Have you some? Yeah. No. I'm just gonna switch back to.
Presentation going?
Is it here? Here. And here you can see. You can't see it. It's blue. Yeah. Just so here you can see that. What we also can do is put the logo, background image. Your teacher could be whoever you want. You could put in voice, welcome messages to your employers. It could be your boss. It could be anything. So nothing is impossible. We can make it look like whatever colors you prefer to like, and your profile on your company and so on. So we feel like your product. Your employers will see this as the company's product in a way.
Yep, I'm good to go over to questions, and maybe one more thing. So what we also did and tried out was like the voice recording was done in-house by our own employees. So you can also have non-native speakers recording the things to make it a bit more tricky, or to work with speed of language. You could, if you want to take that to a higher level, you could have someone talking really fast, maybe mumbling a bit to really create this situation. Or you could work with an artificial voice to have it like really slow, really clear for beginners to really start learning.
Okay, let's give a hand to Tom and Maren. Other questions? I actually had a question, two questions actually. So what happens when the firefighter says something in Spanish, in this example, and the person could then respond? Because they could respond, they could say just about anything, right? How does the...
You could say again, please?
Well, if you're teaching the firefighters basic.
Yeah.
But then they say something to the victim, and the victim says something back to them.
Yes.
Which could be just about anything.
Yes.
So how do you keep the conversation going?
Such is life, right? You expect an answer and it doesn't come, and you get something completely different. I guess this is, I mean, what we have there is like a real role play where you can have different paths. So it branches. It can loop back to something that someone said before. So for example, also if you don't understand anything, it would just go back. We try to have as many possibilities as there are, but yeah, I mean, we're also just like humans, and we can brainstorm together, like I said, with Danielle from the fire department, to get as many, like, what could they say? What could be the thing we have to deal with? Of course, we cannot exclude that something might come back. However, we can also train those people on, could you repeat that, please? Could you, like, basics of that we all need in language learning, like, sorry, I didn't understand you. Can you repeat that? Can you, right, say this in easier words? So we can make sure to equip people with as many things to say that will help them solve the situation.
And also say, here is the AI and the machine learning part, because when I'm going to teach 250,000 firefighters in the US, think of these robots, think of all the information this technology has. So let's say 1,500 vehicle accidents every day. This guy will learn pretty fast. What is the most, what is happening on those areas? So that will be put into the app, and we will only get better as we use it even more.
And my next question was, when you showed the app, it looks like you showed the words as they're grammatically correct spelling, not phonetically spelling.
Yeah.
So how does a visual learner, I mean, somebody who knows English but not any other language, how can they read that and actually pronounce it?
No, that's why we support all the languages in the whole world. So, and all the combinations, you will get instructions on it because we are an app language. we have a learning language and we have our own language. The app language will tell you the instruction in your language. And also you will get like the instructions and everything you read will be in the language you understand. And then you will choose a language to learn. But a language is one thing, but also the workplace training, like you're gonna repeat the things you are gonna do to do your working world.
Right, so we learn it in our language. but
Yeah.
We have to say it in their language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
That was the question.
Yeah, for sure. So learning how to pronounce it, learning how to spell the words and the sentences, and then we have other gamified like puzzles and so on, just to be creative. So we use different kind of solutions to learn different kind of aspects of what you need to learn. So for a school, maybe puzzles will be more precise, but for another company will the sentences and the way you say it be more precise. Yeah.
So what you saw was the workplace trainer for, let's say, people who know some basic Spanish. So what you could do if you're a complete beginner, that would be done in the discovery or kickoff call, like, okay, do your employees know any Spanish, yes or no? And you could, at Babbel, we have the progressive content where you learn Spanish from scratch. And there it really is like, these are the letters of the Spanish alphabet. This is how you pronounce it. You learn how to pronounce simple words and then sentences. So you could combine this. You could say, okay, everybody who has no prior knowledge of Spanish needs to go in that class and learn how to pronounce Spanish and learn those basics, like we've seen the paramedico and paramedica, the masculine and feminine forms. We assume here people know those basic differences, but yeah, we can do anything that needs to be done in order to get everybody to give everybody a successful language learning experience.
Just one thing that you got me triggered. Are you planning to evaluate your software, like behavior?
So we
In any way, any empirical evaluation of it, whether the sentences are in the wrong direction, whether your domain knowledge is correct or not, about the certain case you were showing us.
Yeah.
I know that you're planning to use machine learning and artificial intelligence, but that's a rather long way from my point of view.
Yeah, but
so there's a lot of empirical work that has to be done in it.
Yeah, therefore we have this wonderful team with competent people that are actually also working or helping our clients to make this.
But I'm talking about evaluation, not about designing it.
Oh, yeah.
So you mean data from this one? We have the very close contact to Danielle. So we drafted a questionnaire, like very basic stuff that she sent out to her employees that had basic questions like, I don't know, how did you like it? Do you feel you've learned something? Did you play through all the lessons? Were the lessons you've skipped? Basic things you can think of. And we're evaluating this first very like qualitative feedback to see, okay, where is it that we can improve? Because, I mean, we can see data-wise, we can, of course, see how many people start a lesson. Also, we can see how many people stop a lesson and where. And then it's also good to get the feedback from the person side. This was too difficult. Or maybe sometimes it's a technical bug, right? The speech recognition didn't work. Could also be the case. But yeah, I mean, everything we can improve. That's the benefit of not being a textbook.
I have some fresh data because after the war in Ukraine was a fact, the whole team, because Capiche is a B2B product, but the whole team turned around and we gave the Norwegian course to all the refugees from Ukraine for free to help them come to Norway. How does the bank system work? How is NAV? How is the police? So to give them the opportunity to get to know Norway and also learn the language. So I just got some data, and from a classroom with 100 students from Ukraine, the average of playing was 47 minutes at the first hour. So 47 minutes average, the first hour that the classroom was open. So it's enormous use. But we launched this product, this free course just a week ago, but we gathering data all over the place, how long, how much, and so on. And we're also working directly with the schools, with the systems, with the government. So we're working like on a national level to get so much knowledge as we can out of that project. And so are we also doing with all the other clients, like the Aurora firefighters, but also our home market and companies in Germany, and transport companies, and so on. So yeah.
Great. And maybe just a
Sure.
last question. Can you estimate what is the effort for another customization? Let's say with the same languages, but for a hospital, for the communication between patients and doctors.
How long? I could do that in 24 hours and give you a course that are specifically made for your reasons. 24 hours.
Of course, it also depends on what the content should be,
Yep.
right? If it's like heart surgery, my team might not be trained in heart surgery, so of course we need this contact. But we can act fast. I mean, calls need to be done. Like, okay, what's the vocab that you need? What are the things you need to do? What are the sentences people say or people need to understand? But once we work together on that content piece, it's easy
Yeah.
peasy. Put in the app, do the recordings, get some pictures.
Yeah, and like for Ukrainian, we created a course by NTO, how to get a job. To do a course, how to get a job. It's so crucial because the government wants them to work so they can pay taxes and so on. So if we could, because when refugees come to Norway, it normally takes a year, 2 years, 3 years. We saw that after the Syria crisis, that we got people into work after 6 and 7 months. Like they knew their way around Norway. They could some part of the language, and they took this course to be able to work. So it's possible to minimize that or cut it in half or maybe 70% faster. So that's one of the things we're working on to use technology to make it better and to allow as many people as possible to work and have a living. That's the purpose of having a good life. You need to have a job. So
All right.
Yeah.
Let's give a round of applause to our presenters.
thank you very much.